Hello, this is Bill, and I got a great recipe here, and I really want people to try this one. This is I think way better than anything you've ever had before. So I'm going to make a white clam sauce. The difference is that I don't like it all salty, and I don't like to use clam juice, so this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to start with, I got about 3 tablespoons of good olive oil in here that's nice and toasty. I have half of a yellow onion that I chopped up. Hear the sizzle. Good to the last drop. Okay. Mix this up here a little bit. So I've done a little research on this, and I've made this a few times before. And you know, when you go out to those fancy restaurants and they've got the whole clams in the shell, well, I hate to tell you this, but there's a whole bunch of chopped up clams that aren't fresh in the sauce. They just throw a couple on top for good looks. So I'm just going to sidestep that whole thing because it's a pain. You got to go to the store, you know, the fish market, get fresh clams and use them right away, and you know, steam them and blah blah blah. Way too much work. So I just buy high quality. Actually, what I like to do is buy these pound of frozen clams. You thaw them, you're good to go. They're pretty decent. I think they're pretty decently sized, so you get a good bit of clams. I mean, do I like clam sauce with fresh clams? Yes, I do. But I think I'll save that for when I go out and let someone else worry about that. Alright, I just want to get these a little tender. Got a pretty good heat going here. Whoops. Flinging stuff all around here. Alright. So, just want to see a little bit of translucent color. Obviously this is I got this from the market. It's a nice fresh onion. It's nice and sweet. You know, Vidalias, when they're in season, everyone thinks they're the greatest. That's true. But there are a lot of other kind of sweet onions. Just don't use like cooking onions that are the white ones that are kind of bitter. Alright, I think we're just about there. And you can really, I like the onion in the sauce because I think it kind of gives it a little bit of body to it. If we're truly making a good clam sauce, we're not putting flour. Horror, I can't believe that. But no, it should be more like a soup. It shouldn't be. So what's going to really thicken it in the end is when you put it on the pasta with lots of Parmesan cheese, and that's going to kind of be the thickener. But you don't actually make that in the sauce. All right. And what makes the world's best white clam sauce? Garlic. Believe it or not, I sat here this morning and finally chopped like 10 cloves of garlic. You're like, oh my gosh, garlic, you're killing me, I can't eat that. Well, so what you have to remember, especially in a recipe like this, we're truly going to cook this garlic. So the 2 stages. One, I want to get a little bit of fragrance. I don't want to deep fry them. So I just want it, because we know the onions are already cooked. So I really just want to gently get these mixed around, make sure that don't want to turn the heat down too much because I need to add liquid that I need to reduce. So I think we're just about ready to move to that step. So what's going to happen is, if you think about it, if you're making soup, we're going to simmer that garlic in here, and it's going to get that, all that bitter garlic. This is not like eating like a Caesar salad with a big mound of garlic on it. Alright, so keep that heat up. I have about a cup and a quarter, cup and a half of good white wine. This is a Pinot Grigio. And here's where the fun begins. So I really need to reduce this. Wine's easy to reduce because of the alcohol content. So I'm going to do this first. I'm getting nice bubbling around the edges, but I want to get it to heat through. I don't need to do a darn thing. It's taking care of itself. Oh yeah. I'm doing this in steps because if I put everything in here at the same time, I'm going to lose my heat and it's going to take twice as long. So I'm going to put the wine in first, get it to a nice boil, and get that, and I can really smell the alcohol coming out of it right now. So it should take a minute, 2 minutes at the most, depending on your stove and your pan, to get this back to a pretty decent boil. And I see it happening now. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So this is what's going to really soften that garlic and make it a nice, beautiful garlic instead of trying to saute it till it's soft, because lots of times it gets that kind of burn taste to it. Oh yeah, we're bubbling now. Not used to the smell of wine cooking down this hour of the morning, but it's okay. I'll push through it. So ultimately, the other thing is, why I'm waiting for this to finish up, because it's happening really quickly, is most recipes are going to tell you they want like 8-ounce jar or bottle of clam juice. Well, you know, that clam juice, Lord knows where it came from. It's mostly seawater, and you know, it's not fresh. You know, it's from clams that were caught last year. So I've been really working on this. This is the part that I'm really proud of myself for figuring out. I got some like chicken stock, and I got about a cup of that. So the key is you want, no matter how you mix it, you want about 2.5 cups of liquid. Reduce the wine down. So if you're afraid of the wine, use less wine. Just make sure your total volume is about 2.5 cups. I try and stay away from putting too much of the stock in there, so I'm only going to keep it like this is a cup, and the wine is 1.5 cups. And it also helps to speed up the reducing of the liquid. This has got some good cook down now. I can't smell the wine as much, so it's starting to thicken. So I'm going to take my cup of chicken stock. Let's get this back up to this bad boy back up to a boil. All right, so now comes how do we want to flavor this? Well, first off, I need to start a timer because I figure it's going to take a full 10 minutes. I don't want to rush this. I got 10 minutes on the timer here. Boom. Because I've already got that stock coming up to a good boil. It was at room temperature. Lots of times I have leftover in the fridge. I buy the big boxes of it. But this was actually a fresh one, so it was room temperature. So it's coming to a boil pretty darn quick. So I want to make sure I give it the full 10 minutes to cook down, and sometimes you get a little kind of ahead of yourself and you you know, running around getting stuff done. So now what I need to do, I'm going to take, I want to have some fresh ground pepper in here. My grinder's not working as good as it used to. Of course, it's from the 70s, so I guess that can be expected. And I've got some crushed red pepper. And believe it or not, this stuff does go bad. So, you know, if you're looking at it, it's on the shelf and dusty in your pantry, you probably need to get a new one. So if you don't use it very often, get the small jars. I use it for everything. I use it in my chilies. I use it a lot. I think it's a good seasoning. So I have a tendency to go through it. So I go to the warehouse place and buy the big container. And believe it or not, I think I go through it in probably about 6 months. So I want to just kind of dance in here. I always put way too much in here because I can never tell. It's easier to tell when you're shaking it in here, but it's kind of funny when you get that pound of crushed red pepper you're shaking in there. So the next thing, I get asked this a lot because a lot of people really want salt. And as you know, I don't salt things. I'm pretty resistant to it unless I really have to. Let me just do this little dance around here. So I thought about it and I thought, well, there are recipes I make that I don't, I want some kind of saltiness added, and especially because, like I said, with the clams, and I'm going to tell you more about clams in a second, there's really no salt in here. There's no salt in the chicken broth. You haven't seen me put it. There's no salt in the garlic. I always chop fresh garlic, so it's not the jarred stuff, which has some kind of preservative, I'm sure, in it. So if you really need to, what I like to do, and I think it has great flavor, is a little Worcestershire sauce. So you can literally, if you really want to salt something, just do a little dabble, and you're going to get a lot of good flavor out of Worcestershire sauce. There's all sorts of stuff in here that really kind of adds a little bit of the essence, and this really can be used to a lot more than people realize. Once again, I keep it in my fridge. It's a staple. All right, so that being said, a washed pot never really boils, so I want to give this some time. The other thing I almost forgot is the cool thing about Worcestershire sauce is that it also has sweeteners in it. So you think of it as being really salty because it does have anchovies in it, but at the same time you get some nuances from the sweetness that actually bring out flavors. So if you're cooking chicken or in this case the clams, it's really gonna benefit what you're cooking. So don't hesitate. If you want to try and substitute, try it on something, and I think you'll be really surprised at how a little bit of Worcestershire sauce is going to give you that saltiness without giving you all that sodium. Alright, I still got almost 6 minutes left, so I'm going to put some stuff away. We're going to get ready, and we're going to come back in 6 minutes, and I'll show you how this is going to look. Alright, it has literally been 10 minutes. I had this at a pretty good roll and boil. I just wanted to scrape down. This is where, believe it or not, stick-free pans really help out because you get all that liquid that's adhered to the side, and we want to get it mixed in. That's a real thickener, and it's soupy, but it's really good. The onion's just about totally gone, and it is definitely reduced by half. It was up to the rivets, and now it's getting right down there. So I'm really pretty thrilled with this. So how do we finish this off? Well, this is real simple. I need a little butter because I want to make it a little creamier. So we're not using any kind of cream or milk or flour. And if you have a recipe that calls for flour, like clam sauce, that's probably not great. I can go ahead and I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Fresh from the fridge, it shouldn't take too long. And then I showed you the clams. Well, the other thing about clams is that it's packaged in a lot of liquid. I don't want to add all that liquid back. So what I do is I put the clams in a strainer and I actually rinse it with cold water, which I just did there while I was on my little break here. So you really want to make sure you get all that extra saltiness off. The clams are still going to taste like clams. So I really think that this is part of it, is you want to kind of minimize, and that's why I think I like the frozen clams better, because they don't have to happen. If you buy cans of clam, chopped clams, it's like all water. I'm sure it's not Perrier. All right, so let me grab my clams and you'll see. Alright, so here's what the clams look like. I'm going to take my trusty little spatula. The butter's just about done. Alright, I'm going to get these in here. Amazing, I rinsed them and they still smell like clams. That must be good. Trying to get them out of the fountain. That's right, my butter's still melting somewhere. We got some time. Close enough. Alright, butter's melted, almost. Clams are going to heat through really quickly. So what I want to do now is I want a little color, a little flavor. So I have some Italian parsley I chopped up here. Get that in there. Stir that up. So I just like adding that little bit of butter because I think it just gives it a creaminess. The parsley gives it color and a little flavor. And I don't want to overdo this. I just want to get it heated through. I mean, everything's still pretty boiling, so I know it's good and toasty. So I got myself a little pasta here. This is just for demonstration purposes. I got a little pasta here that I cooked ahead of time. I actually, believe it or not, I like the, I kind of like the bite that you get from dried pasta in this kind of a recipe. Happens to be linguine. I'll show you a little secret. Just want to get a little. Okay, so quite a bit of Parmesan cheese on here. This is like fresh from my local place, so it's really good. Got the big old wheels that grind up. I'm going to turn that down. I want you to see when I do this is that it's pretty soupy, and that's what you want. And why is that? Because you got all that really good flavor, and guess what? You get yourself some nice warm bread from the oven, and you're gonna sop up all that great stuff. And I just want to get a little, just a little bit on there. So we have this really hot sauce that I'm putting on hot pasta, and it's going to melt that cheese. And I think that, I said this is just for demonstration because I'm going to make myself a big bowl of it, but I just want you to see how it looks, how you plate it, how it smells so wonderful. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. I mean, you know, 5 minutes I walked away, let it do its thing, and it's just absolutely fine. So once again, please try these recipes. Let's get back in the kitchen, have some fun, get your family involved, and do something to impress everybody, make them think you're some gourmet cook. And most of all, I think you need to comment and subscribe. Of course, I say that every time, but really just have some fun, try some stuff out. You know, use my little secrets, and just have fun. And if there's something you don't like, I can probably make it that you like it. Have a great day.